but we're shifting our focus to the big story that we continue to track, which is politics over the Indo-China clash, which happened on the intervening night of 8th and 9th December. That still continues. In the latest, now the joint opposition has walked out of Rajya Sabha as far as this clash is concerned. Remember, even yesterday when we heard that brief statement from the Raksha Mantri, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the opposition wanted a discussion post that statement. Even yesterday we had seen the opposition stage a walkout. They are asking two things. One, they're saying that if the episode happened a couple of days ago, why did we hear about it much later? And more importantly, why aren't we getting to know the full picture? These are questions that are being raised by the opposition. So Ruckus still continues as far as this Indo-China clash is concerned, where the opposition continues to demand answers. Today also we're seeing the joint opposition which has walked out of Rajya Sabha as far as the China clash is concerned. As I pointed out yesterday, we heard that brief and factual statement from the Raksha Mantri where he helped us understand what really happened on the ground. The big takeaway there yesterday was that there was no casualty on the Indian side, even though there were injuries. But remember, the opposition kept wanting a discussion both in the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha. That wasn't allowed, and then we did see a walkout. Today also you're seeing a joint opposition walkout of Rajya Sabha as far as the China clash is concerned. Now, as I pointed out, two questions that are being raised by the opposition. Once the opposition is questioning the delay in the government giving out the full picture and the details. The opposition is saying if the episode took place on the intervening night of 8th to 9th December, why did we hear about it much later? And the other question that is being raised by the opposition, they're saying we are not questioning the intent of our armed forces. We stand together as far as national security and our forces are concerned. The only question we're raising is why aren't we getting to know the entire picture? So they're in fact questioning the policies as far as the government is concerned. We'll try and establish a connection with our colleagues and reporters to try and understand what really is happening on the ground. But as of now, that's the latest that we're picking up, where we're now understanding that politics over that Indo-China clash, which, as I pointed out, happened on the intervening night of 8th and 9th December, that still continues. What do we know so far as those clashes are concerned? It happened at about 3 a.m. on the 9th of December. A stealth operation by Chinese troops. Over 300 PLA troops intervened at Yangtze, attempt to capture icy heights of 17,000 feet. But let's talk about the politics that still continues. My colleague Arunima is now joining us on the broadcast. Arunima, even yesterday we saw the opposition wanting a discussion post that brief statement of the Raksha Mantri. What's happening today? Arunima, can you hear me?
Can you repeat that?
Arunima, I was essentially asking if you can hear me this time around, that we saw a lot of ruckus play out even yesterday. The opposition wanted a discussion post the statement of the Raksha Mantri. We saw a walkout even yesterday. What's happening today?
So even today, the opposition, after its meeting where all opposition parties got together in the chamber of Mallikarjun Kharge, he's the leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, and they decided that they will continue to raise the issue of China. And if they're not allowed to seek clarification or a discussion, they will walk out. Now, after that, when Rajya Sabha met, there was a lot of furor. Mallikarjun Kharge himself led the opposition's protest, saying that we are with the Indian Army, we support them, but we do have questions about the political leadership, and those questions are not being answered. The chairperson did not allow motion or that notice, and subsequently the joint opposition has walked out of Rajya Sabha. In Lok Sabha also, led by Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, there was a lot of hangama, and the question hour in Lok Sabha has just ended. Maybe we should cut to Lok Sabha in a bit, because that's the plan in Lok Sabha as well. Once the papers are laid and the 0 hour begins, the opposition plans to raise the issue of China. They want discussion on it. Adjournment motion has been moved by the likes of Manish Tiwari. If that adjournment notice is not allowed, you could see a walkout in Lok Sabha as well.
Arunima, quickly, I also want to understand the word coming in from the centre, the BJP, is that considering the fact that Raksha Mantri has already spoken, he's told us about the facts of as far as this clash is concerned, what more does the opposition want to hear?
See, as far as the government strategy is concerned, they have briefed the House, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Raksha Mantri told them in a very brief statement about what happened in the intervening night of 8th and 9th of December, how the subsequent situation has calmed down, status quo has been ensured, and now at the diplomatic level as well as at the local commander level, it has been communicated to China that transgression will not be accepted and they should not suo moto, try and change the status quo. So that statement by Raksha Mantri, very brief, didn't answer how many of our soldiers injured, what is the kind of injury, what really went wrong there. There were clarifications that the opposition wanted, those were not given either, and that is the reason that the opposition is demanding further discussion on China. They have questions on economic relationship between India and China as well, about our trade deficit and how Chinese companies are continuing to operate here. Something that the government has said that they've not really allowed the discussion for. We don't know whether in the next couple of days at the Business Advisory Committee meeting there will be any kind of agreement between the opposition and Treasury for a discussion on this.
Arunama, I'll request you to stay on with us. Our colleague and senior editor Pallavi also now joining us on the broadcast. Pallavi, what the government essentially is saying is that why is the opposition not letting the parliament function? Can't we have our leaders unite as far as national security and armed forces are concerned? What are you hearing as far as the joint opposition is concerned?
Well, yes, I mean, we already have reported earlier that the opposition strategy is very simple and it's a concerted, united one in which they are going to be demanding, and they have been demanding, that, the government must agree to a short duration discussion on the China issue, which of course is very clear the government doesn't want to agree to that, simply on the grounds of national security and sensitive information being divulged on the floor of the House. Well, the opposition says that you don't allow us to discuss this means we are not going to be inside the House. We are going to walk out, which is what they have done. Yesterday they did it, today also they are going to do it, and they have been doing it. So it's very, very clear, Toya, that as far as the political strategy of the opposition is concerned, they're certainly not going to be budging an inch. They're going to be taking on the government, and they have been. And the only point that they're trying to make is that we don't want to know what is sensitive information, but we really want to know what are the steps which have been taken. How often have the Chinese intruded into our territory, and what really happened on 9th of December? Government's counter is that what happened on 9th of December is something which has been spelt out by the defense minister. He clearly took inputs from all the stakeholders. Anything beyond that is not possible. He gave in all the details which could have been given and what was given to him. But what we are also now seeing is a war of words on other issues as well. The Congress being attacked by the Home Minister himself on grounds of Congress kind of compromising as far as stand on China is concerned. Rahul Gandhi hobnobbing with the Chinese premier. The counter attack coming in from Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, where he raised this question about donors, Chinese donors for the PM Care funds. So those kind of trading of charges and counter charges to something which are now going to go beyond the China issue. Clearly the parliament has become a battleground for the opposition and the government to take on each other.
True. Pallavi, as you're rightly pointing out, that political war of words continues, and we could possibly see ruckus continue as far as the functioning of the parliament also is concerned. But I quickly want